The following is being presented by EA Game Changers. Hi guys, Samantha here and welcome back to my channel and another first look at the newest Sims 4 game pack, Jungle Adventures. So I just want to let you guys know I did receive an early access code, compliments of EA. So thank you so much EA for the opportunity, and I definitely wanted to show you guys like a speed build using some of the new stuff from the Jungle Adventure pack, and this stuff is awesome. I think building something with it made me appreciate it on another level, but I did see some things that I was like, man, I wish we had this, I wish we had that. So it's like you almost start seeing some of the deficiencies, I guess, with the pack, but I don't even want to call them deficiencies because the things that we missing, other things kind of make up for it. But anyway, I digress. But I definitely feel like sometimes building with things and kind of showing you guys what you can do with the new stuff pack and just seeing it like in an actual gameplay situation or an actual setting where you actually can use it, you know, it's a little bit more helpful when trying to visualize exactly what the game pack is about. So right now you see me just making a garden. I have move objects on right now. So I just wanted to layer all of this lush greenery things in this like glass case because this speed build is actually going to be kind of like a restaurant slash dance. I don't even want to call it like a dance club, but like a lounge maybe that your Sims can kind of go grab a meal and then possibly take in some of the dances, the new dances that we got with the game pack. So I kind of wanted to do something where it was like you bring in the outdoors in, if that makes any sense. I kind of saw this idea on a website where someone had like an indoor garden and it was just real lush and, you know, just green and florally and everything. And I kind of wanted to bring that into this build and kind of do something similar. So majority of the stuff that I used definitely came from Sims 4, the Jungle Pack, of course, but I did use some things from the other packs, which as I'm building, I'll try to explain like where I got things from. But I want to say the Waterfall Walls came from Spa Day, I think, or either the Dine Out, because I know we got some waterfall-y type stuff from Dine Out, but I don't remember for sure. But I wanted to have that feature wall in the back of where your Sims can come in and check in and get like a table, because I want, even though this restaurant would be partially inside, I do want a good majority of it to be outside. And I felt like that was probably like the best way, is just to have the Sims be greeted by this beautiful waterfall to kind of like bring that whole inside out, if that makes sense, or outside in. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, but anyway. And then I wanted to make the little garden thing be like 2 floors, because then it'll make it seem like as the garden grows, it can kind of like, you know, catch all of that, the greenery and everything, and just keep it all in. If that makes any sense, I don't even know. But anyway, I kind of played around with the counters. So the counters came from Jungle Adventures and I love them. I really do. And I love all the color options and stuff we got. And those pedestals there came from Jungle Adventures as well. But I kind of wanted to play with move objects on and put the counters, the hostesses things on top of the counters with move objects on. But when I went to go play test a lot, it didn't seem like I could interact with them. So I ended up just deleting them. So, so when you guys get this from the gallery, which it will be on the gallery, you know, it won't be like you see it on the build, unfortunately. So I wanted to continue the green theme by adding some of the grass and stuff on this top floor thingy. And that's just more so you can have that same little backdrop. So it could just seem like, it could just feel like the grass and the greenery and everything is just growing all throughout this little box thingy. I kind of want to say it's like, I don't want to say like a garden. What's it called? Oh gosh, what's it called? Those green rooms, like, you know, the outside green rooms, like when people put their gardens and stuff in it, their vegetables and all that stuff in it. I kind of wanted to have that feel. And then I added the fish tanks on the outside of it, just to kind of bring in like the water and stuff. The only thing is, if you end up owning this restaurant, you might have to, I think you would probably have to take those fish tanks down, stock them up with fish, and then go back into build buy mode and stick them back up there, just so you can have fish and stuff in there. Because when you first place them out, there's no fish, you know, so it's just, they're just empty right now. So, and I thought about that after the fact. I was like, how are they going to stock the fish? Unless you could just click it from where you're standing. I don't know if you have to like be interacting with it. I've done it before, but I don't think I've ever paid attention to what you have to do in order to put fish in it. But anyway, so here I'm just kind of decorating the counter. This is when I discovered that we didn't have a lot of on top of the table type items. The reason why I think we don't, and I'm speculating because honestly, y'all, I went straight into building after I looked at all the build buy mode stuff. So I haven't even looked at any of the gameplay yet. Yeah, I know. But I think the reason why they didn't give us a lot of countertop stuff or stuff like to decorate with as far as on your tables was because they're hoping that you get out into the world and maybe find some of the artifacts and collectibles and stuff in the world, and then you can use that for you know, for decoration or whatever. That's what I'm thinking. But since I haven't physically went into the game yet to try it out, I'm not 100% sure. But I was a little bit disappointed that we only had that one floral thing that I had on the counter right there. The rest of that stuff came from Dine Out. So majority of the time as I was building, I kept my the toggle thing where you can kind of like see only certain packs. I kept it on Jungle Adventures and Dine Out because that's mostly what I used, was Jungle Adventures and Dine Out. So but like I said, it's primarily a restaurant, so of course you needed to have Dine Out in order to use it. So here I'm just working on the roof because me and roofs just do not get along. So before I even touched the inside, I was like, let me see how this roof is going to look, because I don't want no problems, I don't want no trouble, and I'm always having trouble. And then I wanted to use these little banister thingies, and so I thought that that'd be a good way to kind of tie in the rest of the front. And I do like how it came out. The top is inaccessible, but if you wanted to maybe add stairs or something later on, and then you can, you know, access that top floor, maybe so that the Sims can check on the plants or go check on the fish or something like that. I don't know. It's not necessary. It's more just for looks, just to make it look like it's all cohesive and everything. And to me, it kind of gives the feel like what a traditional cantina would look like, just very open and bright. And I put windows and stuff up there, and I also throw some lights in there, so at nighttime you can see the lights coming through the windows, and it's really, really pretty. I really like this lot at nighttime. I think I did a really good job. Of course, I'm partial because it's my build, so you know, that's how it goes. But anyway, but yeah, so I think at this point I'm just kind of like looking, trying to see how everything looks and all that good stuff. And then I start trying to play around with these trims. I really like the trim. I really do. It's definitely very different from something that we've had before. So for that, I really appreciate it. It kind of ties in the building, because you see it looks like a totally different building now that I added that little trim. And then here I realized that, okay, you need move objects on in order to even put that on top of the doorways. Now I will say one thing, even though I do like how the doorways look, as far as space go, they take up a lot. You see, they take up 3 by 2. So a lot of our doorways like that only take up like the one little section for the doorway, but these take up a lot of space. So for that, it's kind of like annoying, because even when you want to put like a doorway in these little tight spaces, it doesn't work like how you'd want it to work. But I mean, there's ways around it, of course. But my concern is when you use move objects on, of course, is that, will the Sims complain they can't get through things because, you know, because things are in the way? And it's like, you physically should be able to get in there. Now, like I said, I did play test this lot, so they were able to access everything that I put in here. So it ended up working out. So anyway, in here putting some lights and stuff, because you're going to want it to be super bright in this little area. I love the chandeliers that we got. I just hate that we didn't get more lights, because we just got the drop down chandeliers, and then we had lamps, and then we had like a wall sconce, that wall sconce right there. And other than that, that's it. So I found myself trying to find metals that kind of match that bronzy look, just to kind of tie my metals and stuff in together. I'm weird like that. I like everything to be cohesive. Like, I want my wood colors to look the same. I want my metals to look the same. So I was a little bit disappointed when I realized that we didn't have any just like just regular lights that could just sit flush in the wall. We just had the drop down ones. And after a while, you know, it gets redundant using the same lights over and over, especially when it came to the little garden area. I didn't want drop down lights inside of it, because it could take away from the garden, you know. So I wanted to just have like a pendant light, you know, just something like a little dome light or whatever. So I ended up just using like a base game dome light in there. I did the same thing in the little extra area that has no purpose, but look at nighttime is absolutely stunning. I love how it came out at nighttime. So, and I love the wall coloring. I do. Everything is very earthy kind of tones and natural looking. And, you know, the reds is like a really rich, like, sandstone-y type red, if that makes any sense. That tree is huge. That tree right there, me and that tree got problems. Like, I was like trying to size down that tree size. I was trying my hardest to use that tall tree. I don't ever see me actually using it unless I use like an outdoor camping, if I do like an outdoor camping thing or something. But for, you know, a lot like this, it's way too overpowering. So I ended up not even using it, even though you're going to probably see me place it a couple times, because I really wanted to use it, but I just couldn't fathom, making it work. It's a really pretty tree, don't get me wrong, but it's just so overpowering. Like, it's perfect for inside the jungle, but on like a lot for your Sims to like interact with, it just seems like it's like way too much. So anyway, here I'm kind of playing around with the dimensions of the rooms, because then I realized I'm going to need to have a kitchen and a bathroom area, but then I didn't like how it messed up the outside. So it's a little bit smaller, but you know, it's in the jungle. So the purpose of a jungle mostly is to be more so greenery and all that type stuff, and wildlife, and not so much restaurants and stuff like that. So I ended up convincing myself that it was going to be okay, that it was a little bit smaller because it's in the jungle. We don't want to take up too much space and take away from things that need to be in the jungle, because we're trying our hardest to put a big old huge restaurant. So it worked out okay. So here I am just trying to put the little cook station, and I wanted to put that little window one, but then I realized how just crazy it looked, because I couldn't center it, and then when I centered it, it took like way too much space up, and then when you put it up against the wall, it like flushed into the wall, as you can see right there, and I didn't like that, so I ended up just getting rid of it altogether and just doing like a regular cooktop. I wish that when we're doing restaurants, we could just use regular stoves. Like if we could just use a regular stove, and I could just put some cabinets and just make it look like a kitchen, but they'll still interact with it, I think that'd be so cool. But I don't think that I've never even tried it, but I don't think that you can do that. But I think that that'd be really cool, because then I would just make like my own kitchen, especially for a restaurant like this. It's just like a little small family owned restaurant, you know, and it shouldn't be anything super major. And it ended up being something major. Just having that huge big old cooktop in there. So I ended up just doing a half wall. So guests will be able to see what's going on and kind of smell the smells and see the sights, and maybe hearing the pots clang and everything like that. But to me, that's kind of part of the character, so that you can I don't know, like part of the atmosphere and the character or whatever. So at first I was going to do those circular tables, and then I realized those circular tables gave me the blues. So I actually did 2 speed builds. Here's one. The second one though, that's when I realized that the circular tables, they seat 6. So if you want just like an intimate, like 2-person type atmosphere or whatever, it's not happening, you know. And the same thing with these tables, they sit 8. So I put the chairs like in the middle, but they actually have like 8 slots for the chairs. So you could potentially sit 8 people at these tables. And then it almost gets to the point where it's like a little bit too much, you know. So we didn't get like just a regular 2-person table or a regular 4-person table. We got like the massive tables. I mean, unless you want to consider the benches. I guess the benches would be considered like 4-person tables, but you're not going to put that inside of a restaurant or inside of a house. So I was a little bit disappointed once I started playing around with the tables, when I realized that what if I just wanted to have a couple options? I just want to have a 4-person table or a 2-person table. You got to tweak it, you know, in order for it to work for you. So I don't know, that's one thing. And then the bad thing is that if you want to use something that we just have in game, the wood colors, because I even tried to play around with that, the wood colors don't really match like how I would want them to match. So just a little something, a little tidbit. Like I said, I know that this game pack wasn't centered around like stuff, and that's fine. But, you know, it's just funny because once you start building with the stuff and you start, you know, thinking about how you can use it in your Sims lives, that's when you realize we're missing some things. Like even right here with the toilets, we do not have a toilet. We got a bush for a toilet. And so when I'm dealing with these beautiful sinks and this beautiful tub and this beautiful shower, and then I realize we don't even have a toilet to match, because the one toilet we have is a bush, which looks exactly like the bush from Get Together. I was just like, why? Like, why you didn't give us a toilet to kind of match the pretty woods and the pretty glasses of the stuff that you gave us? So either way, I noticed that too during this point, because I was like, I understand like it's a jungle and your Sims may want to go outside and use the bush, but if you're using it as a residential, like if you want to use the residential, I mean, if you want to use the stuff at a residential lot, then what? Because I'm not going to have my Sims in real life go out and use a bush. It's just not going to happen. I don't even like when they do it autonomously. Like, you know, if we're at the Bluffs and we're partying or whatever, they feel like they got to go potty. I don't even like when they do it there. So it's like, I'm not going to do that in the game. It's a life simulation game, right? So I feel like that's not realistic to go outside and go pee in the bush. You know, to me personally, I just don't. I've never had any nights like that where I just feel like I need to go pee in the bush. I don't. I just don't have it like that. Anyway, so this side of the restaurant is, well, okay, I'm back on this side. So the other side of the restaurant is going to be like the little dance area. So that's over there. And then the other side is going to be the restaurant. It doesn't sit very many tables, but again, it's just like a little family owned restaurant. Maybe the family, you know, has origins from the jungle and they want to give back and do some, do a restaurant there or whatever. So I really wanted to take advantage of this fireplace, because to me, this is like one of the best items we got in the pack. It's beautiful. And the fact that it could go absolutely anywhere is just a plus, because I have been one to download CC fireplaces to use that look similar to that. But I think even with the CC ones I have, they're not free placing. I think you still have to put them up against the wall. So I really, really love the fireplaces. I like the tables, but I hate that they're so big. And I played around with sizing them down. But when you go put a lamp or something on it, you have to drop the lamp down on the size down. I don't know why I thought if I size it down, it'll like still act like a table, but no, it'll still act like it's the regular size. And then you have to like drop whatever item down onto the table in order to use it. So, but the tables are a little bit, I mean, they're really nice, the little side tables, but they're almost like too big. Like if you just want to put them up against a couch or something. So something to think about. And I like these little benches or whatever, because I like the coloring and stuff on them. So I decided to put some outdoor ones just in case people wanted to sit outside. And surprisingly, when I play tested this lot, these actually came up as seating options in the restaurant. I thought maybe that people would just come and bring a picnic lunch and just eat outside or just sit outside and enjoy the green grass. But they actually were sitting out there and getting served food. So I thought that was really cool. So anyway, here I am just trying to like do some little decor items outside, and knowing that I had to put move objects on, I had to keep toggling move objects on and move objects off. It was a mess. It was a struggle. But anyway, so just adding a lot of grass and greenery. Now, I will say some of these grasses will kind of overlap into each other, but some of them won't. So in order to make it look like super lush, you're going to have to size them down, size them up, and then just like place them all with inside of each other. But that grass, that little ferny large grass right there, oh my gosh. That thing is stunning. What you could, I mean, look at it. Like immediately it becomes like this little lush greenery area, like that if you step in it, a snake might come out and bite you. And I like that because of that, because it has so much dimension and so much texture and stuff. So don't ask me what I was doing here. Thought about making like a little centerpiece type pond thingy and using that murky water. But then when it was all said and done, it looked stupid. So I ended up taking it out. I was so disappointed at myself. I was like, why did I waste time doing this? And I literally wasted, I mean, of course, this is sped up right now, so you can't tell, but I wasted some time on it. I kept going back and looking at it and going back and looking at it. And I was like, I really want to make this work, but it wouldn't work. But you see those green thingies, because they got they're not flat. So it's like they look like, anyway, I don't know. I really like them. And the little florally ones too. I really like those too. I'm surprised we hadn't had anything like that in game before, because we could have had like that type of stuff from Granite Falls, you know. But anyway, here I am just trying to like do some little terrain paint or whatever. But look how it just got transformed to like, with that lush green stuff, it just got transformed like so quickly. And even though I built this in Newcrest, it's given the feel to me like a jungle. I didn't want to build it in the new world only because I hadn't had a chance to play in the new world yet. So I didn't want to like mess with any of the lots, but you could totally pick this up and put this in the new world. And like I said, it will be in the gallery. So that'll be something that you could look forward to. I am so excited about this pack, y'all, though, because I looking at the world, which I'll do a video on that as well. There's like a lot of stuff for exploring and stuff. And like I said, I haven't physically like played with it yet, but just looking at it, I was just like, oh my gosh. I really like these outdoor windows, like let the breeze and stuff in, but they take up like a lot of space. So just keep that in mind if you decide you want to use them. And I wish, y'all, I wish they gave us the ability to put more than one window on one section of the wall. You know how if you try to put a window like on top, it's going to say, only one window per, and I'm like, but why? Because in real life, somehow some places have multiple windows, like, you know, on the same part of a wall, and it's fine. So why can't we do that in the Sims? Because this ain't real life. I know, but sometimes I want it to be as close to real life as possible. I mean, like, let's keep it real. But I do like those things though, and I feel like if you use the lot trait bracing breezes or something, then maybe they'll get the little windy feel, like the sunny aspect feel or whatever. And I think I did make this one like sunny, chef's kitchen. And what was the other? Earthquake. I ended up making it an earthquake because I felt like in the jungle you could be a little bit wild. So I put an earthquake on it for the lot trait. But it's funny, I've done earthquakes before, but I still haven't experienced one in my game. So I wonder how often they happen. So this plant right here, this is what I was frustrated too, because I was like, I really want to use this plant as a centerpiece. So for some reason, I've never tried to raise objects up on a PC. I've always done it on a Mac. And that's when I realized that I had no idea what I was doing. So I left it there because I needed to go research how to raise objects up. So I was like, I'll just get back to it later. But I sized it down just so I could raise it up. And then I'm going to put it, there you go. And I'm going to put it on top. But I struggled with trying to figure out like, It was floating in the air so many times, and I was like, you got to drop it down. Then when I dropped it down, it was too far down. So it's a little bit truncated into the drawer, but it is what it is. And I had to do the same thing with that picture, just to kind of decorate that little table right there, just to give us some little decoration. And then another thing too, I was disappointed about too, is the wall fixtures. We didn't get a ton of, not wall fixtures, I'm sorry, wall paintings. We didn't get a ton. We got some things, but they're to me, they're way too big for just like residential use or whatever. So I thought about using that, but that's like all whatever, like watery or whatever. So these leaves ones look really good, but I didn't want to keep using them over and over because they would just be redundant. But they look really good with this game pack and with those colors. So I did use those. But those right there, they're like way too big. And then when you try to size them down, the shadow stays sized up. They didn't have it where when you size them down, the shadow sizes down with them. It's a little annoying, but, and then they're like too big to use like in a normal house. Like to me, they're just way too big. So that was a struggle. Anyway, so I could have swore I saw a little bit of the live stream and I was so excited about the new dances and stuff. And I could have sworn that they said that they're going to have a wall speaker specific for the Latin channel. And I couldn't find it. So I ended up just putting regular wall speakers in, but you'll have to click them and like pick like Latin or whatever, like the channel. You'll have to pick it in order for it to play on there. But the other channels are accessible too. So there's like Latin, you know, hip, S-pop, you know, whatever. All this stuff is in there too. So it's kind of disappointing because I thought that they said we had a designated one, but I couldn't find it. And it wasn't under the all objects for Jungle Adventure Pack. But anyway, here I am just kind of playing around with sizing some of these things because I kind of wanted to make like a little corner, little decorative area. So I just took that same vase and sized it up in different ways and just moved objects on and squished them together so it could look like they were just all bunched up together over there. So here I am using all of these lights. And like I said, I really like this light, but you see what happens when you use like too many of them? They just look redundant. But you know, I don't know. So that's like my only beef right now with those lights. But you see how big those things are? They're like huge for no reason. And it's like, do I even want to use them? Oh, the struggle. I do like the tapestry. So I think that was a good one. But other than that, we don't have a lot of pictures and stuff. And that's fine. Because like I said, this game pack wasn't for a lot of stuff. It was more so for the gameplay. So I can't complain. But, you know, it was a little bit disturbing once I started trying to decorate stuff. I was like, I have nothing. I was in here singing Whitney Houston, y'all. I was like, I have nothing. Yeah, I literally was doing that. Like I was struggling. So anyway, I am just trying to set up like the restaurant menu. I kind of wanted to do things that I thought would be tropical, like things that have like a lot of fruit. Things like that have Latin cuisine. I did notice some of the new foods in there, but honestly, y'all, I haven't built a restaurant in a very long time. So, for me to, like look at this stuff and say, okay, this looks new. I can't even begin to tell you because probably the last time I built a restaurant was Dine Out. And since then we got City Living food. We got, of course, now we got Jungle Adventure food, but I'm trying to see, did we have anything else between there? But I know some of these things I was like, wait a minute, this got to be City Living. But I try to do as much as I could as far as doing like jungle-y type food, if that makes any sense, and doing like Latin-y type food. So there I was like trying to do the chef outfits, but then I realized, you know what, they could just be back there in the back in regular clothing. But I did want to use some of the new clothes that we got for the waitresses and the waiters. So I ended up doing it real simple. I just went to the what you call it, the outfits, the already saved outfits, already created outfits, and I used those because I felt like that'd be an easy way for me to get it together. But anyway, I'm wrapping it up, I think, right here. I think I ended up calling it Bites in the Bush or Bush Bites or something like that. I think I ended up naming it that because I had the hardest time trying to figure out a name for the restaurant because I was like, I want something that sounds like jungly, but something that sounds like a restaurant. And I like Bush Bites or Bites in the Bush. I think I called it Bites in the Bush. So anyway, I like that for that reason. But I think that's what I ended up using. I think I'm in because y'all, I literally went to Google and I was like, good names for a restaurant. So I think that's the reason why it's just sitting here right now because I was doing that. Sometimes good restaurant titles, you know, good catchy restaurant titles, they sound cute when you're in your game and it's like, let's go to Bush in the Bites or Bites in the Bush. It's like, oh yeah, that's a cute little title. So I think I did call it Bites in the Bush. I'm trying to remember right now. But anyway, I'm coming up on the end of the build. Stay tuned for some in-game some video footage of me playing the lot and some screenshots. And again, this will be on the gallery as soon as Jungle Adventures is released. And I think, yeah, I said bites. I didn't put bush in the bites in the bush. I don't know, y'all. But anyway, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay tuned for another speed build after this one. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.